Well, eldest daughter syndrome, it's a term making the rounds on social media, and it describes the burden of responsibility that a lot of firstborn girls say they feel within their families.
Today, co-anchor Hoda Kotb takes a closer look at the research about birth order and how it shapes our personalities.
Hey there, a recent New York Times article on birth order caught our attention, exploring how it shapes who we are and how we interact with other people. And no matter where you might fall in your family, we're sure you're going to have strong feelings on this topic. Birth order is something that has been discussed and dissected for decades.
Alfred Adler developed birth order theory.
But thanks to what some say are spot-on takes on eldest daughters on social media, firstborn girls are having a moment.
If you know an oldest daughter or an oldest sibling, give them a hug and say thank you.
A New York Times article entitled "Why Your Big Sister Resents You" has eldest sisters and their loved ones buzzing, citing viral content like this post on X asking, "Are you happy, or are you the oldest sibling and also a girl?" The comment section becoming something of a support group.
Eldest daughter syndrome is not an official mental health diagnosis. It's a term coined to describe the unique pressures and responsibilities placed onto the oldest daughter in the family. In short,
this TikTok video from Katie Morton, a licensed marriage and family therapist and youngest sibling, has been viewed more than 6.5 million times.
1, you have an intense feeling of responsibility. 2, you are an overachiever, type A, and very driven.
The topic has been discussed at length on podcasts.
We're definitely what I call like bonus parents.
Family therapist Sarah Stanizai has had an overwhelming response to a support group she created for fellow oldest daughters.
When you're in a room of people who absolutely understand it, even though they might have their own sort of nuances to it, hearing each other's stories and also being heard, what that's really telling you is you're not abnormal.
Middle children are often described as having big personalities. The youngest, outgoing and social. Though research on birth order personality traits is mixed. Experts say it may not matter.
If it matters to you, then it matters.
Hoda Kotb, NBC News.
So here to help us better understand this theory and really interesting topic, Katie Horwitch. She's a mindset coach, author of the book Want Yourself, and the founder of Women Against Negative Talk. Katie, let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
This eldest daughter syndrome, I'm fascinated. First, explain what it is and what are some of the signs, the symptoms, if you will.
So eldest daughter syndrome, it's not a clinical term, but it's this phenomenon that we've all sort of started to pinpoint that the eldest daughters in the family have a high sense of responsibility, a high achieving persona, feeling like they need to people please, type A, sometimes ridden with guilt because they're paying attention to everybody in the room. It's really interesting.
What is it about the eldest daughter and not the eldest son that these expectations are put on the girl in the family? And talk about the cultural significance as well.
Yeah, we were just talking about this before we started the segment. I think a lot of eldest daughter syndrome is passed down generationally. This is based in different cultural norms and expectations, religion, socioeconomic status, even the everyday language that we use and the media that we see. I mean, think of like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
And you
Marsha.
these archetypes for the children in the family.
Yes.
I think that sons and children of all birth orders experience a form of this because of what we've normalized.
Let's talk to all those youngest children out there. Let's have a little conversation.
Shout out to my brother.
Exactly, my brother too.
Yeah.
What are some of the other sort of birth orders and the way that they can sort of affect, if you will, your personality possibly?
Yeah, so because you mentioned youngest, something that a lot of youngest children are pinpointing as is really charismatic, really persuasive. A lot of youngest children say that maybe they had a later curfew or they can get away with more than their other siblings. And then there are middle children who often feel like they need to be the peacemakers. They can feel like maybe they're overlooked. They can maybe be more rebellious. But at the end of the day, these are all archetypes. It's what we do with them in our lives that actually counts.
You can like shift it, right?
Absolutely, totally.
So many other
factors
about these younger children, and it's like you guys get away with everything.
No,
you know,
like for sure. Parents are tired by the time we get to the youngest one.
They're just like over it. They're just exhausted. You know.
Quickly talk about some of the things that happen within family dynamics that can also affect how our personalities develop.
So sometimes if there is a blended family, there are different expectations that can come together, and the kids can feel like they're trying trying to navigate what is the middle of that Venn diagram that we've now created. There could be emotional needs that these people feel like they need to fill, and that carries into adulthood.
Yeah. All right.
Katie Horwitch, this was amazing. Thank you so much for the conversation. And stay with us. You're watching NBC News Daily.